And it looks like we're recording. So, hello there, Matt. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
Not too bad. I know we had somewhat of a topic lined up, but I had something I wanted to try to surprise you with, and it's annoying because I saw on Facebook that you're already aware of it, and I'm wondering. Can you hear that?
There's a saying, and
can you hear audio?
All Japanese Canadians know it for sure from their grandparents, but
something about Japanese Canadians.
It cannot be helped. You just have to move through it, and it's a lot of shigata ganai to get to this point.
Very good.
And you're right, Adrian. It's hard to believe that it's actually happening. And yet, on the other hand, it seems like we're very close to the point of no return here. And I can't help stressing that all of the athletes who will be at Tokyo have invested so much in getting here. The year's delay has been very difficult to deal with.
Man, like, shut up, announcer.
Some pro athletes have decided not to come to Tokyo 2020 because of COVID concerns. Let's face that.
I mean that's
every
the one
one
thing
of the
I can say about the
athletes
Olympics
who is here
the news broadcasters and stuff just really ruin it by talking over top of the video game music.
It's funny. I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, it's neat and everything. Remember, I don't know if you recall. I forget if it was. So I don't even know how the Olympics work. I know you have to like your city puts together some sort of pitch to say, yo, we can handle this. And then they get selected. And then there's like another little mini celebration to say, look, we did it. And at one of those two events, when the Tokyo Olympics were doing either their pitch or their like, we got selected celebration, they had like Mario and played some Nintendo music.
Yeah.
I think it was part of the whole, like cool Japan thing or whatever. So I'm not surprised they carried it forward. I'm happy with the choices though. The frog music is a nice touch, and it's funny because I don't know. Like when you think of athletes, like we're old people, right? Like 30s, late 30s. Like athletes are all these like 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Like half of those people stomping around out there are like, what is this? Or they're from a country where they didn't grow up playing like Super Nintendo. So it feels like an awesome thing that like some very small sliver of the audience is actually going to even pick up on, which makes it kind of more fun.
There's probably a person or two in the Olympics who has played Monster Hunter maybe, but like the selection there was like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy and the Tales of series and Kingdom Hearts, Chrono Trigger. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. There's a big selection of stuff that's not new. So
I guess you have to ask yourself, like, think of who's watching the Olympics. It's probably not the 18-year-olds. It's like their parents, and then I don't know, other sports people or whatever. Like, I guess it's for them. not the athletes. They just just walk around and do the thing.
Yeah, like I was barely aware that sports things were happening. I mean, sports things are always happening, but I don't know. If it weren't for my Twitter going alight this morning over this amazingness, I wouldn't have even really known that the Olympics had started.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of news I see fly by about whatever. People were whining about the beds being anti-sex beds or something. Did you see that? Yeah, like I see weird little things like that, but I didn't know the exact date they were starting or anything like that.
Yeah, I saw the anti-sex bed thing. That's been declared fake news, by the way.
Debunked.
Yeah. No, those beds were invented like a decade ago, and it has nothing to do with anti-sex. It's purely like because they're eco-friendly.
Yeah, what was the anti-sex thing? I didn't even read the article. It's like they fall apart if you vigorously like shake them or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Olympics are notoriously a haven for sexual stuff to go on.
And what's the problem? Like the athletes train for their whole life, and then their event that they've been training their whole life for is the next day, and they can't sleep because there's noise. Is it like that kind of thing, or like what's even the problem? I don't really get it.
I don't know if there normally is a problem. I could be wrong, but I feel like what's that dating app that everyone uses where you swipe?
Tinder?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tinder was like caught on because of the Olympics, where like all the athletes were using that last time around.
Really?
I don't know, maybe I'm making it up. But as far as I know, it's just like a known thing that all these gorgeous pinnacle of creations are going to be romping with each other. But I think the concern this year is just the spread of the pandemic.
Right.
So,
It's okay
but
to like. I don't know.
yeah,
don't know.
I mean, the human race is better when Olympians procreate. I think. I don't know.
I guess. I wonder how many actually procreate. I mean, do people come home from the Olympics pregnant? Like that seems like a very poor planning. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. The planning really has anything to do with it. That'd be a good question. That's something for if we had a third person on the podcast, I'd tell them to go Google the stats for that right now. And but I'm not going to bother doing that myself.
Yeah, topic for next time.
Yeah. Anyway, I was going to try and surprise you with that, and then I saw on our messages that you were talking about that exact song and being happy, and I was just like, God damn it!
I'm too tuned in. I'm just too tuned in for your surprises. Yes.
Yeah, I thought my pop culture superiority would come in handy for a change, but
I check Twitter like once a week, and it was this morning, and boom, ruined everything.
Yeah,
I gotta start checking it after the podcast, then you can just consistently surprise me with like going ons in the world.
Yeah, it'd make my life a lot easier if I could just be like, "Hey, ever hear of this thing?" And you could be like, "No, what is it?"
Right? Okay, well, let's plan to do that.
Speaking of which, some news from almost a full week ago. Have you heard about the auction of Super Mario 64?
I did. I find it. I mean, I'm sure everyone thinks the same, but like, I guess. And so I get what you're doing. This is the lead into our topic, right? And I'm gonna jump a few steps. So we wanted to talk about collecting today, and here you have this example of like madness in the collector's market, essentially. And I don't know. I guess I remember when it was like 2002 or something, and I decided I'm going to collect every single Nintendo game. And it's unrealistic. I mean, it's still not realistic unless you have lots of money. But even like being in a small town, like it's not like every game is in the town or whatever. And some of these games are so rare. But it was fun because no one wanted this shit, right? I mean, like people would literally just give me games, or like someone's kid moved out and they asked their parents to throw their games away, so I'd inherit the box or whatever, right? It was just so easy to get stuff. And it's fine that there's other collectors, and it's fine there's a market, but when things start going like totally wild bonkers, like it's literally like news articles about things going for millions of dollars, it just I don't know, it kills it for me. It reminds me of like I guess anything, but like Transformers or something. Like everyone, it has to be in the box, and it has to be whatever year. Like I just kind of want a copy of it. I mean, I don't collect Transformers, but I don't know. It's when I see news like that, I'm always like, and plus, it's like, I don't know. This is weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might have been around 7 or 8 or something, and my grandfather used to buy me like sets of hockey cards.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, this was like a craze. Like everyone wanted hockey card collections and baseball. Little did I know that the money at the time was actually in football, which nobody cared about in Canada.
Yeah.
I actually bought a couple, and I think those cards gained in value faster than anything else, just because that's a big thing in America. I of course didn't keep any of my stuff in good condition.
Yep.
But it seemed like it was something that, as a 7-year-old, I was aware of. Like there was this mania around it because people had like thrown out their parents' Superman comics and stuff, and that stuff was like worth a pretty penny.
Yep.
But for some reason, it never really occurred to me that the stuff that I was actually interested in was ever going to get like that. Like the idea that a video game would ever sell for like more than $100 was not something I considered as a 7-year-old.
I don't think many 7-year-olds consider such things, do they? I don't know. Maybe they do.
No.
I mean,
I thought that about my comics.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see. you thought that about your comics. See, I look at the things I had when I was a kid, and a lot of them now, if they were in good condition, would have value, like
Yeah.
Magic cards or Transformers. Did I tell you my my Ultra Magnus story? I think I did. I think we.
I don't recognize the word in my ears.
You're what? When I was, I don't know, tiny, my mom and dad for my birthday or something bought me Ultra Magnus, which is a Transformer. It's like I don't know
Okay.
what you'd call him. He's like he looks like white Optimus Prime. Doesn't really matter, but we had a family friend who also bought me Ultra Magnus. And they're like, oh, we both bought the same thing. Okay, and returned one. And I'm just thinking, like, I wish we just threw it in the attic, like the second Ultra Magnus.
Yeah.
Because now it would be worth like mint, never touched Ultra Magnus. It would be worth like thousands of dollars or something crazy, right?
Yeah.
And like the Magic cards I had and stuff. It's funny because like I bought Mario 64 brand new. I don't know, actually, like maybe there was something about that one that went in the auction. Like maybe it was there, or was it just like the general release? Like I don't know why it went for so much, but like I had that exact thing in my possession at one point, and it's weird to think that, right?
Well, so that's kind of what's bananas about this, is that like there has been a market like you of people who like casually decided they're going to collect every Nintendo game, and there's people that have. But the thing about the game collectors up until now is that everyone wants to play their games.
Yep.
So there's no concept of like the condition that they should be in. Like with game collectors, they're all just like, I want it, you know.
Uh-huh.
If it's got the booklet and box, that's great. But if it doesn't, that's okay. I at least I can still play the game and have it on my shelf. So there have been sales that have been expensive up till now because people, you know, there are people that want the box and the manual and everything. But generally speaking, people haven't cared.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I'm seeing clearinghousepricecharting.com has like been getting into it for like 2 years. Maybe there's other organizations too. I don't know.
I used to use a few different sites for like video game price tracking and gauging and stuff.
Yeah. But it's like the same people that have always been into like the Beckett's and all that sort of stuff, and like grading the comic books and grading the baseball cards. They're now starting to get into this too, and the people who are interested in like having first runs and having it in mint condition, like these are the people that are starting to get in.
I think it's also a value of or like a function of like people who were playing Mario 64 when it came out. Let's say they were 10 years old or something. I think the game was 96, so they'd be born in 86, so they'd be kind of like mid 30s. Like they now have money. And so kind of supply demand wise, there's more supply of money for hardcore collectors to go crazy and like get into bidding wars and stuff with each other.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like now that there is, I guess it's Heritage is the company that is doing the auctions and stuff. And they only got into it in January 2019 with a sealed Legend of Zelda that went for a then significant price of $3,360.
Then significant.
Yeah. So I'm reading an excerpt from Ars Technica, by the way. So that was their first auction, and then a month later, the co-chairman of Heritage was part of a group that spent $100,000 on a copy of Super Mario Bros. So it just like went from 3,000 to 100,000, and now it's at the point where like there's this brand name recognition of people grading it. The millionaires out there are suddenly taking an interest in this market, and so I guess that was one of the things with this Mario 64 is like it was a specific early run of it that was A++ quality 9.8. And they say somewhere on this article that it's like it's extremely, extremely rare for a perfect 10 to be given out on graded stuff. Like you could take stuff that was like still shrink wrapped in the middle of a crate from original stuff that just never got opened up, and it might still only have a 9.8.
Because like even in shipping it out to the retailer, it gets bumped a little, or like there was a manufacturing whatever, it got clipped when it was being shrink wrapped at the factory or something. Yeah. Which, like, my goal in collecting actually was like kind of very different than this. Like, if you think of like say some game. So disclosure, I'm not even really a collector anymore. I mean, I still have all this stuff, and I'm not really actively buying or seeking or like trying to acquire X quality like a perfect condition whatever game.
Yeah.
But like part of it was that like I enjoyed this stuff as a kid, and so I wanted to kind of have it, and I wanted also the games that I didn't have, but I was looking for that experience I had as a kid. And so when I was a kid, the boxes I had were not in great condition. The cartridges I had scrapes on them, and so like if I wanted to go and get some game, it'd be nice to have the packaging. But even if I couldn't get it, if the cartridge was scraped up a little bit, like that's almost like that's fine. Like that's how I remember it, kind of. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
getting the pristine, perfect version. First of all, it made me scared to even use it because I'm just
Yeah.
going to scrape it up and add wear and tear to it. So it ruins the experience already. But like that adds nothing for me. I wasn't seeking to like put it on a shelf, I guess. So it's just kind of weird for me to like wrap my head around a little bit. I guess,
Yeah.
The other quick point is like I think it just appealed to me to be able to play the game. I always use the word fidelity, I guess, but like how it would have been played back then, if that makes sense. And so like, yes, you can play all these games on an emulator, but if you get the actual thing and you plug it into your whatever Super Nintendo and you hook it up to your shitty CRT, you're playing like the real experience or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so, with like what I was looking for was the ability to play the game in that environment, but then also, if possible, the packaging and stuff. And so for me, I'm totally able to like nowadays I use flashcards, and so you're totally able to play the game no problem. As like you get that full fidelity experience just by having it and putting it like using the flash card with the original hardware, and then you can find high quality scans of the things online for the packaging, which is not quite the same, but I would prefer that to having like a closet full of like pristinely folded cardboard and stuff in my closet. I know I'm not really like who cares about me, right? I'm not really some representative, collector or anything, but
no, but I think you are kind of representative of what the traditional collector has been. Like I said, nobody's really been caring about quality, and it's probably for that reason. It's like we all grew up and ravaged our own stuff, and as we're collecting more stuff, we're like, who cares what condition it's in? It doesn't need to be better than what I've already got in my collection.
Yep.
It just needs to make me happy and be usable, right?
Yep, totally. I have my Super Nintendo set up here, and it's the one I got when I was little. And it's yellow and scraped, and like I think I wrote my name and marker at the bottom, but it works. It works fine. Like I have zero desire to like go and find a perfect Super Nintendo and buy it and then put it on a shelf, or like buy two and have one on the shelf and have one be the one I use. Like this works fine. This is great, right? This is the real experience of what it was always like to play Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to say, it's interesting to me because like I feel like we talked about a little bit, like I was talking about Transformers at some point on the podcast, I think. Doesn't really matter, but I just, with Transformers, it was kind of interesting, like the toy line Transformers, because it was like this 80s toy line that was a hit, blah, 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 blah. But at the time, no one had any concept of like collecting toys.
Yeah.
And then it became popular to collect them at some point. And so I was reading some article about how like there's this kind of date you can nail down beyond which, like, until that date, toys until that date were quite rare. Like nowadays, like to find a toy from say the 80s in great condition is really hard. But to find a toy from the 90s in great condition, still shrink wrapped and stuff, is comparatively easy. Of course, depending on the toy generally, but like generally it's much easier because in the 90s, that's when people started collecting the stuff. And so when new stuff would come out, people would buy it and take good care of it, where there was no such concept in the 80s. And so you have this drastic change like right around this particular date where like everything before that was impossible to find, everything after that is easy to find, and that's why like prices for those older things are just crazy spiked. And so part of what I guess really surprised me with the Mario 64 sale was I always kind of assumed the same thing was happening with video games. Like you look at some of those really rare NES games and it's like they just don't exist. There's like literally like you look at the collecting sites and they have a list of the known copies in existence in the world, and it's like 14 copies or something, right? Like it's not even like you have no chance of getting that. Like the 14 richest collectors out there have it, and you will not get it unless you pay them some enormous sum. And so Mario 64 is like well past that, and it was a popular game. I mean, you just mentioned it was like an early run. Like I guess that's probably what kicked it up so high. I'm assuming, and that plus some sort of bidding war, plus a combination of factors like I was just mentioning, like people who were into that at the time and would be seeking that are kind of in their late 30s. They have more money than they've ever had, etc. But yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't have surprised me if it was like, I mean, the before that, when the original Zelda like shrink wrapped copy, blah blah blah, sold for so much, I was a lot less surprised.
Well, I mean that one was like $4,000, right? Like
Yeah.
There's
Well, no,
like a,
I thought that was like I thought it was $100,000 or something.
it was I mean, yeah, there's been a bunch over the past year. I think the previous record was something like 400,000.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought Zelda was like $1 million or something, and this time was even crazier. I don't know.
think no, no. So in 2019, Super Mario Bros. Sold for 100,000, and then 2 months ago, there was a copy of that for 660,000, and then the record that was just set, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, was The Legend of Zelda that was 870,000. So it went from 870,000 to Mario 64 at 1.56 million.
If you bought a game for $1 million, what would you do with it? I assume if you're buying a game for $1 million, you're someone who has enough money that like the million is not even like it's a rounding error on your bank account. So you have a game now that's in great condition, right? Like what do you do with it? Like you put it in your room and look at it, I guess.
I mean, you got one of two options. You either film yourself destroying it, and hopefully it's pay per view, and you reclaim your money and then some. Or I guess you have no choice but to buy up all the next best copies and destroy those.
So we know why you're not a collector, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to take it out and play with it, I assume.
Yeah. The thing is, these like pristine copies. Like you probably don't even like. Imagine you got a pretty good copy. Like by these rating standards, it's an 8.5 or something. I mean, whatever. There's probably so many 8.5s. Just take it out of its stupid plastic case, put it on the shelf. Every now and then, when you're feeling nostalgic, you go in your cool nerdy room and look at the back and pull it out and remember what it was like and get that smell. Like when it's the 9.9 perfect condition, best in the whole world thing. Like you're probably putting it behind glass and never touching it.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a strictly worse experience to own it to me.
Yeah. I feel like I'm now craving some sort of a heist film to be made where someone steals the valuable copy of Mario 64.
You're hoping this happens to the person that bought it.
No, I'm hoping for a film about
a fiction about it.
Yeah. Like, throw some celebrities in who have to dodge around lasers and stuff in order to get into the Mario thing. I remember seeing movies like that where people are like stealing diamonds and stuff. It's like, what's the point? Who's going to buy this stolen diamond?
Whereas a 9.9 early run Mario 64.
Yeah. We're just seeing people showing their interest right now. That's obviously getting to sell for more in the future.
Yep.
I remember finding it weird because like Suikoden 2 was like an incredibly rare game, and like 10 years ago maybe. I've got no concept of time anymore. So that game was released 99. So right now even I can go on eBay and I can see that game is for sale for over $500. And I'm pretty sure it was a little bit more than that just a few years ago, and then Sony re-released it on PSP and PS3 and kind of made a lot of collectors angry.
I love how that's a thing. I mean, imagine you bought like some really rare Van Gogh for $26 million or whatever. It's like no one's gonna like re-release it and screw you, right? But like, I don't know. It goes back to what I'm saying. Like I mean, games were originally mass produced, and I get that this is the one that's in the best condition and whatever. But like, I would never push for like pirating games, but just the fact that these games are created as ROMs that then can just exist and fade into the past. Like the original entire game, like its bits and its bytes are perfectly preserved forever, right? And so if you have that plus a high quality scan, I used to be more of a, I guess, like a preservationist, but I like the idea of the game like always existing and being available. It's less important to me that like, there's like a physical plastic thing sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
Especially with like disc rot and CDs and stuff. I mean, some of the stuff you can't even preserve in its original like release run, form. And so like, I don't know, that $500 copy of Suikoden is going to be worth well, maybe it'll always be worth that much if it's seal wrapped or whatever. I don't know, but like in X years, it
Let's
will
say
eventually
100
not
years.
function. Yeah, it'll eventually
Yeah.
not function anymore. Whereas like all the copies of it will, and it'll be fine, and you can play it, and it's like a fun game or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, that's. I mean, that was what collecting was always about to me. Was like access and being able to play it then and there. It was kind of fun, I guess, for me to like have the the shelf of all the games. And you walk up to it and you pull out the game, and it's cool. Like that experience is still a lot of fun.
I mean, I guess that's the difference between us and a collector, right? Like we're art appreciators,
Yeah.
not art collectors. Like where you were mentioning Van Gogh, it's like lots of people have a poster of Starry Night, and they're completely happy with that. And, but it takes that special person to really absolutely want the original.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not one of those people. It's weird. Like it's supposedly a lot of the people who have been collecting are like mad that this auction's happening because it's like ruining the hobby for them.
Oh, really?
Because it's like they've collected a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like their collection was something that they were collecting for fun and because they wanted it and they wanted to be able to play stuff. And now it's like their collection has been like doubling in value each month, and now they're like afraid to like they're priced out. They can't buy the new stuff to finish their collection. And they don't want to sell their stuff because they know it's going up in value. So it's just like they're
not
stuck
fun
with
anymore.
this thing that's not fun.
It's like housing, kind of. I won't get into that topic too deeply, but like a lot of people, it's like they just want a house and they buy the house, and the next thing you know, it's like in the news, the house is going up in value, and it's going up in value, and they think, well, do I sell or should I hold on to it, or maybe I'll move to a cheaper area? Like it's no longer about like work hard, have enough money to buy a house where you want, and then do it, right? And like the way they zone cities, they don't like accommodate that idea very well. It's all about like invest in the house and boom, 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 money. Like as soon as you own a house or before you own a house, you're just thinking about money all the time. And when even like hobbies are like that sucks. Like even my video game collection, it's weird. Like all this stuff could just go up in a fire and that's it. And so like I guess I should be insuring it. And then if it all went up in a fire and I got all the money back, like okay, it's not like I'm going to rebuy everything. Am I happy? Like I effectively it would have been the same as selling it. It's just a really weird thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you collected like pretty rocks off the beach, it's just a hobby. It's just fun, right?
Yeah.
And you're kind of touching on another thing that I guess ruined it for me, if you will. When I like going back to when I was like when it was 2002 or whatever, and I was just like going to flea markets and finding games. Like there was a lot of pleasure in that. And like if you had some rare game, it was almost like maybe it was like a baseball cards where you bought that baseball card packet. Like I was never a card person, but you got that rare card and you could show your friends and they're all jealous. Like you were the one that kind of just went up somewhere and found that cool game, and that was just something you had and it was cool. Right now, you just throw money at the problem and it just fixes everything. Right? Like you have the internet, you have auctions. Like when you were little and that one friend of yours had like whatever Batman Returns on or whatever some Batman game or something on Nintendo and no one else could find it, that was so cool. But now that we're older, we just go buy it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's strictly better. Like it's awesome you have that access, but like from a like when you think about what it is that's fun about collecting, like the collecting part is no longer fun to me when you can essentially get anything as long as you're willing to throw enough money at it.
Yep. Yeah, it was to be to admit my guilt. Like I was playing the Pokemon games with my kid last year, and in that game you have to catch them all. You got to collect all the Pokemon, and you can only do that by trading them.
Yep.
And so we managed to get them all. Like I went on the internet and did trades and stuff. But the thing that pulled at my sanity a little bit was sorry, did you ever play the Pokemon games? I guess I should just explain it anyway for all our fans.
Yeah, I played the first one or two. I think I played Yellow, where Pikachu follows you the whole game or something.
Well, there was a mythical Pokemon called Mew, and I don't remember exactly how you got Mew. I think the only way you could do it was by trading for it at Nintendo events. It wasn't something that you could catch natively in the game. And then they continued that. When they released the Let's Go games on on the Switch, it's the same way. The only way you could catch that is by buying it from Nintendo.
Okay.
You can buy the Pokeball controller that lets you pretend you're throwing that in order to catch Pokemon and stuff. But if you buy that, then it comes with a single-use Mew that you can bring into your game, and you could trade that off to Pokemon Home and Pokemon Sword and Shield and stuff if you want it.
Yeah.
And there was just something frustrating at the fact that this device had sold out. So if I wanted it, I had to buy the device for like over $150 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could go on eBay and I could give some stranger $3 and they would give me a generated Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And they traded that to me, and I did that. I'm guilty of going on eBay and buying a Mew.
The aftermarket, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hitting on, like, once you start having to play with money and feeling obliged to make money decisions, I think it's a lot less fun.
Yeah, it's weird. I would be much happier playing the game and being able to collect everything natively in the game, and it's a weird thing because I know a ton of people did that where they bought 2 Switches or 2 Game Boys and 2 copies of the game so that they could catch everything and then trade them to themselves to complete their Pokedex. And humans are weird, man.
It used to be a ROM. Like, I remember when ROM hacking was kind of born, and people were so excited because they could just go hack their save file and get all the Pokemon.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, okay, like, just look at a video of them. Like, what's the point?
It's so weird. I mean, we're so weird that humans just have this little part of their brain that's just like, I got to collect all of this thing that I'm interested in. And
so, I totally thought of this. I used to be into hockey when I was little.
Yeah.
And I have this, remember Panini?
As in the bread?
No, is it Panini? Yes, I know there's a bread called Panini. I forget what they're called, actually. It's an Italian company that made like every sticker book when we were little.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, I could have sworn it was Panini. Anyway,
yeah, Panini Stickers Canada.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Okay, there you go. Was it Canada? Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, they made this whatever, like, hockey book with every team and every player and all this stuff, and I was buying the stickers religiously. And at some point, it was like 1990 or something. It was like really, really old. Anyway, at some point, you could, I forget the exact. You like bought this cereal, and there was like things like points and like point cards in the cereal, and I bought enough of it that I had enough points to mail into the company, and they would send me the missing stickers.
Wow.
And I did it for the last like 10 stickers I needed, and they fucked it up, and they sent me 9 of the stickers I needed, and then the 10th was a double of one of those 9 instead of the actual 10th one I needed.
Oh.
And it was the most heartbreaking thing ever. But anyway, to this day, I put them all in the book, and there's one single sticker missing in that whole collection of like 500 or whatever. Like, it was all the players, and it was all the team logos, and the team logos were made of multiple stickers, like, just whatever. It was like this massive effort to collect this whole thing.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's like, it's not important to me for any reason at all, other than it just bothers me that it's not complete.
No,
I could not care at all about that anymore. And it's just like, I've thought about it multiple times to like just go online and find someone else's half completed sticker book and buy it and cut out that one. Like, I don't think that one was particularly rare or something.
Yeah.
And it's just a human thing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm totally in the same boat where the 1994 Fleer Ultra Spider-Man cards, I collected all of those, or I attempted to, rather. I've actually still got the binder full of them here after all these years. And yeah, there was the local comic book shop, the Batter's Box, and they would sell used, or is it used cards? Opened cards.
Yeah, opened.
So you could go in and pick out the individual cards that you needed. And I remember just every chance I would get, I would go into the Batter's Box and I would try to find whatever cards that I still needed. And I never did complete my collection. And it's one of those things where I look at it and I'm every now and then I'm just like, should I check out eBay? Should I?
Yeah, don't do it. I just thought of another dumb story that's only slightly related to this, but I feel like telling it just for no reason. When there was a contest when I was little, and it was a cereal-based thing, like you'd buy whatever alphabet cereal or whatever, and it would come with a letter in it, and it was a Nintendo-based contest, and so you had to spell the word Nintendo. and I mean, I'm sure they still do this, but back then when
Yeah.
you needed to like collect all of something, like they do, like they have Monopoly at McDonald's and stuff. It's the same thing, I think, where like
Yeah,
everything's
yeah,
pretty common except one thing. There's like one rare letter or one
yeah.
rare property in Monopoly, and I don't know what the letter was. Like it's obviously not N because there's multiple N's in Nintendo, right? Maybe it was O or something.
Or the
But
T.
whatever, yeah, one of the ones that there's only one letter of. Anyway, between myself and my neighbor, we had all the letters.
Yeah.
And it was like that was actually a big deal. Like you could send it in for like a free like game or something.
Yeah.
And the way I remember it, of course, is that I was the one who had the rare letter. But I remember we fought over it and fought over it, and we ended up not like helping each other. And I remember buying so many cereal boxes to get like the other letter, and I could just never get it. And they were doing the same, and we never completed it, and no one ever did anything. And so like, if you can imagine these like 7-year-old kids like pointlessly not getting an entire like Nintendo game that they could have gotten.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the dumbest thing ever. I don't know. I just remembered that. Awesome story, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, now I want to go and look at what that contest was. Like, I like get all the like what. That's enough details, right? Cereal, all the letters of Nintendo.
Letter cereal contest.
Yeah, maybe.
Alphabets. Yeah, look at this.
For real? Wow.
Wait, this is a new one though, because this has Cappy on it.
Oh, this is very new.
Oh, I have no idea. The 25 greatest cereal prizes of all time. I'm gonna click on that one instead of looking. There was an Alphabets terrarium, an animal stamp collector's book, dinosaurs 3D glasses, Frosted Flakes, Major League Baseball temporary tattoos, spooky speedsters, Kool-Aid. Wait, you could just get Kool-Aid in your Alphabets.
Click the letters of Nintendo cereal. What year would this be? Like 1994 or something?
You know, the one thing I remember getting in a cereal box, when I don't remember which, it must have been the Clone Wars movie, Attack of the Clones or whatever, when that came out, the Star Wars garbage. I think they had a cereal specifically for that movie. And if you collected
Star Wars?
Yeah, I got to look this up now. Star Wars cereal. Yeah, it was. Oh wait, again, this is a new one. They always have. Let's look it up.
Time goes on,
cereal.
man.
Star Wars cereal prequels. It looks like it was basically like a Lucky Charms. I don't remember it being like that. I remember it being like a honeycombs type cereal or something. But anyway, whatever it was that I got. Oh, here we go. Kellogg's Star Wars Episode 2 with Clone Trooper cookies, biscuits. It came with a Clone Trooper mask, like a full-on helmet that you could put on over your head. and I totally have it.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know if there's no like cool contest winning story that I have at all. My efforts to find this spell Nintendo thing are not really working either.
Yeah. This one wasn't a contest so much as you just had to buy enough of the cereal and then send in the things and they would mail you the mask.
Yeah.
But it looks like you could actually buy like packages that came with the mask and multiple boxes of cereal as well to avoid them having to mail anything, I guess.
Awesome. Okay. Here we go. 91-92. Okay, I found the Panini NHL Hockey sticker album. Now I just have to check it out on eBay later. See, I don't remember what my missing. I think it was I kind of remember. I could probably look at it and maybe remember it was like such an upsetting thing to me at the time. Yeah. I
actually used eBay for one of the first times recently since buying my Mew. I have a bunch of stuff that I don't use, so I started looking through and realizing that I've got a bunch of PlayStation 2 games and a broken PlayStation 2. PlayStation 3 games. I had a broken video card, so I was able to sell the broken video card on eBay.
Nice.
And while I was looking at it, there was a JRPG for Nintendo 3DS called Radiant Historia that I played through because I kept hearing that it was an amazing game, and I really just was so incredibly bored the whole time. And I decided, looking at this, that there is a 0% chance that I will play this game again. And so I listed that and I sold it. And
Nice.
so I bought that game for $60 about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I sold it for $150.
Sweet.
So
should have bought multiple copies.
yeah. So that, but that's the sort of thing where like I sold that, and then like a week later, I hear about this Mario 64 thing selling, and I'm just like, man, what am I doing? I shouldn't be selling my games. I gotta wait another 20 years to sell these.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Like when my wife saw that auction news, she of course messaged me and she's like, "Do you have this game? We should sell it. We should sell it." And I'm like, "Well, I do have it." And now I'm just curious how much a open copy is worth, and it's like $9.
Yeah.
Of course. Right?
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if anyone told the guy that spent $1.5 million that he could have just bought like the Mario 3D thing on Switch and gotten it.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure the person's friends were like, "Man, are you sure?" Like, there's charities that would maybe do something with that money. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your you're not really a collector. I know you don't really
No.
have like large amounts of physical things, but you mentioned that one game that you sold for 160. What do you have anything? Like, what's your one most valuable, arguably collectible item that you do own? Anything?
Probably nothing anymore.
Nice. That's a good way to be, I think. Hey, you have that you have some art books that are valuable, don't you?
Yeah, so I've got probably my most valuable thing right now would be the Symphony of the Night for PlayStation 1.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that could probably go for some.
Yeah, just checked eBay, and that you can get that with Buy It Now for $230. So
there you go. Yeah.
This is Canadian, mind you, not a currency that actually has value.
Not real money. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had I don't know if it's still worth money. I think they've re-released it since, but Zeno Gears used to be pretty rare.
Yeah.
I do have that. I have I do have some rare NES games. I have Action 52. I think it's kind of famous now. Yeah, you reminded me of another thing, and it was in the early days of YouTube when the Nintendo Nerd was really popular, and every time he would review a game, all the like collector prices for that game would shoot up because everyone would go and buy it. Like everyone that had old games would now want to also own that game.
Yeah.
And so it was funny because like on the like he reviewed a bunch of like common games, and so now those are, I guess, a little bit more expensive. But there's games like his ability to influence the market was kind of interesting because there's games no one had heard of that they knew were rare that were like, okay, if I want to collect every game, I need that game too, and it's very limited supply, so it's valuable, blah blah blah. But Nintendo Nerd would review it, and now all of a sudden everyone had to have it, and the price would just like double, right?
Yeah.
Which was, I don't know, it's not like unique across history, but that kind of thing is always both fascinating and kind of depressing.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing with Bitcoin, right? Is that it's like this market where you've got like oh man, why can't I remember his name? The antivirus guy.
McAfee?
Yeah.
McAfee.
The late McAfee.
Yes.
He like
Didn't
that was
kill somebody? Like that was such a weird.
Yeah.
I don't
well,
know, anyway.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. Yes.
But yeah, like that was the big thing with him, is that he would constantly on Twitter talk about various cryptocurrencies, and it's like as soon as he would talk about it, those things would just soar in price, and then he would like sell it all. And it like got to the point where he was like advertising that if like you had a cryptocurrency and wanted him to shill it, pay him some money and he would. Right? It's weird how there's these trendsetters that all it takes is for them to talk about something and it goes up in value.
Yep. Which is, again, I mean, once, like I was saying, once the money aspect of collecting becomes a big part of it, I feel like I page out. But once like this kind of thing starts to happen, it's like I like to go all the way back to the idea of going out on the beach and collecting pretty rocks, right?
Yeah.
Is that fun? Is it not fun? If it's fun, cool. If it's not fun, don't do it. Like no one thinks about money and this and that, and that's when I kind of page out. I guess that's what you were saying. being more of a appreciator versus a collector.
Yeah, I'm more the type of person that likes to collect memories.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy to take my camera somewhere. Like in the case of the shells, like we have a jar here that we went on a vacation to Florida a few years back, and
Mhm.
the three of us were collecting shells, and some of them are banged up or whatnot, but we've got this little jar, and it's a nice little memory. And we weren't concerned about like, okay, we've got to get one of every type of crustacean shell.
And we'll buy the ones we don't have off eBay.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
yeah. So it's weird. Like if anything, I would never want to collect all of the Nintendo games because I never played all of the Nintendo games.
Totally understand that.
But I could imagine wanting to collect all of the ones that I had played as a kid.
Yep. I mean, for me, I guess it's kind of weird. Imagine there was an author you really liked, and you read like 10 of their books, and they were really fun to you and awesome and nostalgic and crazy. And then after you grew up, you decided you would go and get those books, and it ends up they have like 100 books. Like, I guess collecting NES games was always like that to me, where I just liked that era. I liked that, like everything about it. Like, I didn't play them, but it was still nostalgic because of the subset I had played and how they related and everything. And so that's kind of what drove it for me, I guess. But I do totally get that way of thinking as well.
Yeah. I guess that comes back to even modern day games. Like I have no affinity or serious preference, I guess, as to whether the pixel art game could authentically run on an NES. I'm fine to play Cyber Shadow or Shovel Knight or something that's like retro but not authentic.
Yep. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I used to care at one point. I'm still. You were scolding me recently for some bad editing, which was true entirely, but which was a mistake done very late, and I didn't go back and correct it. But anyway, I'm very grumpy when like if you're gonna go with pixels, at least just go with pixels. I don't know. I hate it when there's like unaligned pixels or different size pixels, or you rotate pixels. Like I just can't stand swinging the axe in Stardew Valley. Or sorry, I just can't stand it. It just takes me way out of everything in some weird way. It's just very jarring to me. It's like listening to a song and like if it like cuts weird or there's missing audio, it just takes you out of the song a little bit, right? Like, it's just annoying.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, for anyone who needs to go back and understand episode 2.08 narrative in games, Matt didn't make me happy with the graphic he made. It's there's non-uniformly scaled pixel art.
Well, it's funny because maybe I just half-assed it too much, to be honest. But like, I'm also highly sensitive to those kind of things. And when you called it out, it felt so defeated. It was like I don't know. Like that's my religion, is to preach that. It must be like, when like a priest gets caught in a homosexual relationship, it's like you lied the whole time, right? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on the hour here. What have you been playing? Anything?
Oh man, what have I been playing? I mean, not really anything. I forget when we recorded last time. I recently finished Mario Galaxy 2 with my kids. Which was fun. I mean, once you get to the end of the game and it's hard, it's not really with the kids anymore. It's me playing and them watching, and then them dying in 10 seconds, kind of thing. But we finished that, and I'm like so. And we talk about this occasionally, but like, do you remember when you were a kid and like beating a game opened like the next quest, or like you'd be kind of a completionist about stuff? Like, I have so little patience for that anymore. I'm just so. It's an adult thing, I guess. You're kind of time strapped, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so I beat it, and then it opened a special world. And I'm almost like, I kind of want to do it, but I kind of want to just be able to say, okay, I beat this game, I'm done.
Yeah. I played, I think it was New Super Mario Bros. Yeah. No, it was Mario 3D World or something on the 3DS. And it's literally, you beat the game, and then it unlocks the other half of the game. Like, you see, like for me, when I see credits, I'm generally done, and I don't want to keep playing.
I don't even want there to be more. It's not even like,
Yeah.
sure, there's more, but I'm not going to play it. I'd much rather there just not be more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have made me more happy if I didn't know that there was a half game
Yeah.
remaining that I'm not going to play.
Yeah, exactly. Or like when they unlock one of those games, one of the Mario games, you like unlock Luigi.
Yeah.
And I guess you can play all the same levels again now as Luigi, and it's going to be different. But like, no way.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I might. I mean, I think we disagree a little bit on the Galaxy series. I rather enjoyed the game very, very much. I will say that. And so, I might, whatever, just like on a Saturday, just go back and finish all the levels. There's only like 5 more or something. It's probably pretty quick.
Yeah.
We'll see though. I don't really have another game lined up. I mean, I have probably a list somewhere, but I'm kind of trying to figure that out. What about you?
Along
We're
those
both
same
busy.
lines,
Yeah.
I've been playing a little bit of new Pokemon Snap with my kid,
Cool.
which he loves, and I don't mind it, but it's a very grinding game. They get you to play the levels over and over and over in order to unlock more levels, and it's not it's not enjoyable to me. I don't mind going through once or even a second time and trying to see the stuff that I missed while I was looking in the opposite direction. Because it's like you're on a little train basically that just goes down the tracks and you have no control over it. But yeah, when they give you experience based off of the quality of your photos and you just have to keep doing it to level up, I'm just like,
Yeah, no thanks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played a little bit of that and a little bit of Kunio-kun on the weekend, and that's it. I didn't manage to play anything else throughout the week.
Cool. Or not cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I have to figure out how to squeeze in some time for games. I've been meaning to play Snatcher, and I played it a little bit, and it's been kind of interesting, but kind of meh.
Yeah.
Like if someone told me it was a 2-hour game, I'd probably be fairly motivated to just go and finish it. It's enough of a kind of fun experience, but I don't know if I could dump 20 hours into it. This goes back to being a bit of a completionist. It's kind of like, in a weird way, it's like Metal Gear 0 or 1.5-ish. And it's like, well, I should beat this. And then I can say, like, I've played all these games, all the, Kojima games. Yeah. And so when I come back to Earth, I'm like, well, wait, I don't really care. So maybe I won't play it.
Yep. On the plus side, it says it's only a 9-hour game on howlongtobeat.com. So,
well, that's right on the border. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a maybe. That's a big maybe for me.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Well, good chatting with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Take care.